Jake Paul's the real deal, man. Jake Paul's pushing himself to the limit. Jake Paul's that guy. I are him, or whatever it was that he said leading up to it, right?
You know who I are? I are him!
No, that wasn't the case at all. What we saw, in my humble opinion, because I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. Of course, I've been a supporter for the longest time. A rather lackluster, unmotivated Anthony Joshua that didn't look like he was being particularly nasty.
Anthony Joshua is the guy who's been doing it his whole life. And you're trying to tell me at his level of championship caliber, Jake Paul was able to skirt around the whole time and he couldn't once close the gap. I could demonstrate this at the gym tomorrow and record it and put it out there. And I'm not that great of a boxer, but I can show you how to cut off a cage against someone half my size. And I will just tell him your stipulations are to just swing on me anytime I get close or just run. I just want to prove a point that Anthony Joshua could have done that. It was just like, hey, I'm watching a spectacle, and that's
so you think it was completely like planned?
I don't say planned. I never said planned. What I said was I think it was some type of agreement.
I mean, he's a good enough athlete. Everybody's like, oh, fixed fights. I hate the idea of these. Like, just because you can't explain what happened doesn't mean a fight was fixed. I mean, so these guys that come off with these stupid theories that fights are fixed, it's like, you know, Jake Paul's a solid athlete. He's fast. He's got faster feet. He was smaller than Anthony Joshua, which made his target a little harder to hit, especially on a moving target. And we all know that it's so difficult to fight somebody who's not trying to fight you back, and especially is a bit awkward. It's like when that guy comes into the gym for the first time and he's so awkward, and you're like, oh, this is awkward. And I'm sure that's what Anthony Joshua experienced in them first couple of rounds, like this awkward movement from Jake Paul that just made it very difficult for him to track. And he knew he was going to eventually catch up to him. And when he did, we saw what happened.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. And he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting.
Wow, I think the Jake doing an amazing job, you know, and the big responsibility is for Joshua, not for Jake, you know. But the people need to respect Jake, you know, and imagining Jake little big and having more time to training for this fight. You know, I think Jake improved a lot. The people need to respect him. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in a company, but it's because Jake, the people need to respect Jake, you know.
I'm not going to sit here and tear the Jake Paul down. The fact that he got in there, he gave everything he could. I tip my hat to him, man. And I think a lot of people should do the same. Let's not tear this guy down. He did a good job. You know, it's not real. Like, to me, I don't look at it as real boxing, even though this was a real boxing match. I don't think anyone should have ever considered the fact that he actually had a chance. Now, if you were just tuning in to watch him get knocked out, you got what you wanted. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what, maybe you wanted it to be different. Maybe you wanted it to be the Francis Ngannou style knockout.
Sometimes a story ends in the way that the story should end. It always should have ended with Anthony Joshua knocking out Jake Paul. And that's exactly what we got. But I think it's time that people give Paul some credit for what he did, what he has done for boxing, and his ability and willingness to stand in there. But I tell you, man, I leave this with a little more positive outlook on Paul because of what he did in there today and him actually going in there and fighting the world champion. Not many people would do that.
I see so much people talking shit on in the fight, which, dude, what the fuck did they expect? Like, Jake was hyping himself up, saying he's going to win. So, dude, that's self-belief. He needed that to go in. He needed that to get himself into the ring. You know what I'm saying? He just needed that. This is a fucking YouTuber that switched to pro boxing.
Yep.
And he's fighting Anthony fucking Joshua.
He's
He made
entertaining.
$90 million, $7.5 million per minute.
I mean, I think it's stupid to anybody even like question what the fuck happened. Every time Anthony Joshua went in tight, Jake either, went for a shot or just fell to his knees. So, I mean, it was like, what is Anthony supposed to do? He knew that Jake only had one shot. And it was just, you can't press against a guy who's running away the whole time. And every time he got scared, he just dropped to his knees. And so it's pretty uneventful.
It does look funny though, because AJ is the best boxer in the world. And the whole idea was to not, you know what? I think it looks good for Jake because it showed that Jake does have some level of boxing. He's a boxer.
But he did all right, Jake. I mean, it wasn't much fun. It was all right. It was pretty much what I thought was going to happen. I didn't think that Jake Paul's going to stand and bang with him early. That would be just suicide. So what he did was try and be on his bike. But you can't do that all night. At some point, you're going to have to trade a little bit. And he did. And he got knocked out.
Oh, well, honest thoughts on the fight. I feel like AJ carried Jake Paul to the 6th round. I know my IC and I understand fighting. But this is, I guess, the best result or the most realistic result, I guess. But I know what my eyes were seeing in the early rounds, and then now we're here. So, yeah, well.
Look, if you want to go the WWE route and say there was something fake going on, then you say, well, maybe there was an agreement he would take it easy. All right, that Joshua would take it easy the first 4 or 5 rounds. And no, I don't think it really, it's possible. But I'm open to understanding why people are complaining on the internet about that. But I'm going more with my feelings and my theory and my experience. That I saw a guy break a guy down, break his will, physically tire him out with the pressure, with a guy who's never been on that platform at that level, and evaporate him physically and mentally and emotionally.
Him fighting Anthony Joshua, it's curious as to know whether he really thought he could win or not, because he didn't fight as if he thought he could win. He fought as if he tried to survive.
Yep.
And I understand that. I do. I totally understand that. So to me, it looked like he fought as if he was trying to survive and then maybe catch him with a big punch, and then he landed the right hand, and it didn't affect Anthony Joshua. And that's when he really panicked and broke down. So part of me goes, all right, if you're taking a fight that you don't really think that you can win, is there honor in that?
I mean, I saw Anthony Joshua straight up carry him. I saw Joshua suddenly not jabbing, not letting go his right hand when there were openings, not cutting off the ring at all. And even in the finishing rounds when Jake exhausted, you're just sort of like, something just feels weird here.
It's like, even now, it's like, yeah, it was definitely a fix. Some guy commented today on one of my posts, yeah, it was definitely a fix. I go, you do know that he's broken his jaw in 2 places. Like, he may never be able to fight again. People aren't really talking about this. People just think, oh, you just get your jaw wired, bolted together by a couple of screws, and on you go. There have been many fighters who have had their jaws broken that never boxed again. And they're like, yeah, oh, no, that might have been real, that bit. But the other stuff, it's like, we're not actors here, Like, it was 100% real. There was never any strategy, any deal, any script. AJ wanted to land clean as soon as possible. Unfortunately, the only time he landed really clean was in the 6th round.
I think it was much more strategic. I don't like people being like, oh, this is just WWE and they're not showing it. Again, one more time, that would make it a federal crime, and that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But I think the simpler explanation is the more correct one here. He was rusty. Jake is a little bit better than we thought he was. However, he also looked a little bit better than normal because he had the bigger ring and he had the faster feet for the ability to just kind of stay on the outside. And, he could play that game for as long as it lasted and without really trying to win. And that's what you got.
I respect Jake, man. I respect that. He did better than I thought. I think he fought cowardly, yes, but he landed some decent shots. He arguably took round 1. He did better than Ngannou. People clinch a lot in boxing. Fury did the same thing to Wilder, just constantly clinching up on him and constantly going for him and putting him in that front headlock position. I know it was different because Jake was genuinely shooting double legs, but my perception of this changes because this is a fucking YouTuber.
But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up. And I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder and come again and maybe sell out this center.
I thought Jake Paul could knock out Anthony Joshua. You know, Jake Paul did land that shot that I was looking for. I was looking for Jake Paul to land that overhand right, which he did, and I thought that was gonna put Anthony Joshua to sleep. You know, but like Anthony Joshua said, you had to give respect when respect is due. Jake Paul went in there, he fought Anthony Joshua, he got knocked out, TKO. Biggest platform, Netflix, probably made a freaking bag.